What's up, freaks? This is just me, and today we're gonna be exploring the best physique of Big Ramy's bodybuilding career up to the year 2021 because I haven't learned to predict the future yet. So, Big Ramy or Mamdouh Elssbiay, maybe, I don't know. Anyway, he started competing as a pro in the year 2013 and he kept competing up to 2020. And he's definitely gonna go on to participate in more competitions. And in this video, we're actually gonna take a look at the years 2013 to 2020 because, in my opinion, Ramy doesn't really even have a prime. All the years that he came conditioned and big at the same time are basically his prime years, in my opinion. So first, let me get out of the way 3 honorable mentions. On the left, we have the 2013 Olympia version. This version of Ramy was very aesthetic and cut, especially from the front. I would love to add to this that this version could be easily swapped for the 2014 Olympia version, which in my opinion looked very similar and also very good. But I couldn't fit it on the screen. Anyway, in the middle is the 2015 Olympia, that's the year after that. You can see in this Olympia, Ramy wasn't really that well conditioned, not much muscle separation, but he was really huge and he didn't look bad at all. And on the right side of the screen, we have the 2015 Prague Pro version of Big Ramy. He came into this contest decently sliced with a greatly separated lower body. In this pose, the front lat spread, we can notice that the 2013 Olympia Ramy has very nice separation in the abs and diced quads, and he looks amazing in the pose with his great V taper. But the 2015 versions are not bad either. I like the Prague Pro version on the right quite a lot. And let's have a peek at the side chest, which we have a nice comparison of. The lower body of the 2015 Prague Pro looks absolutely glorious with the quad separation, and the upper body is just as good. So the Prague Pro stands out to me as the winner in this pose, but with this I'm very close to whipping a dead horse because I'm not judging these. These are just the starters. But we also have the rear double biceps pose. I gotta appreciate the 2013 version for having a nice small waist and huge biceps and a good lower lat insertions. In my opinion, this back double is absolutely incredible, really good. And in 2015, both the Olympia and the Prague show, Big Ramy was really dried out. You can see that in the glutes. So these are all 3 great versions, but we got even better ones if you ask me. Here they are. This one on the right is the 2013 New York Pro, which Big Ramy won, beating the likes of Victor Martinez, for instance. This version was not the most dominant in terms of mass, condition, or muscle maturity, but the aesthetics were on another level. His waistline and abs look great, as well as the arms. So this version is gonna be a bit difficult to compare because the lighting is really flattering and the photos are taken from a low angle, but I think we can try to do it. Then in the middle, this is 2017, the Olympia version. This is the year that Ramy beat the entire crew except of Phil the Gift Heath, and he was runner-up. Some people even claiming he should have won the show. Ramy brought it this year. He was really full, but also cut and pretty conditioned. And who do we have on the right? Look, it's Ramy's Olympia winning version 2020, as we all know. This year, Big Ramy was able to come in the show very strong. He was both huge and conditioned enough, and he deservedly won the Sando. He had very dominant quads, and the upper body wasn't lagging behind. So definitely this version, just saying a priori, most likely is the favorite, in my opinion, to win this comparison. But let's get into it. The front double, it's 2017 for third place as I see it. The posing is a little bit different, it seems, but Ramy crouching down on the abs quite a bit more takes away from the lats, so the V-taper doesn't look as impressive in 2017. Also, the legs are not as separated as in 2020 and not as big as 2013, or at least it seems like that because the sweeps are not as long. So 2017 is last in my opinion. Between 13 and 20, I would actually give it to 2013, taking into consideration the difference in the camera angles, of course. The arms of the New York Pro look slightly better, thus more impressive in comparison with the rest of the body. The midsection of 2013 also looks more cut, and I know the photo quality is different, but still it's the case. The lower body is sort of apples versus oranges, because the quads of 2013 look much longer and much more pleasing and more proportionately developed. But 2020 Ramy's got the bigger measurement for sure, and more separated and dried out quadriceps. So take your pick overall. I prefer 2013 and it gets 1 point from me. 2020 gets 2 points. I would like to add, I found it very challenging sizing these, so I'm sorry if it's not correct, but I tried my best. Moving on to the front version of the lat spread pose. And believe it or not, I find 2020 the least impressive out of these three. It's because of the lats, the pecs, the midsection and the waistline, which are all just slightly worse, in my opinion, than the two versions on the left of it. The size of the wheels is of course very impressive, but it's not enough in my eyes to overtake the other versions. 2013 looks a bit better because taking into consideration the camera angle, which is deceiving because it's flattering. Still 2013 is sharper through the abs and serratus. The lats bow out really good and the chest is fuller than 2020. The legs look good too, so he has a great X frame. That being said, I think 2017 is deserving of first place in this pose because the waistline looks really tiny, the abs appear to be more separated, and the chest is definitely much bigger and fuller. The lower body is possibly the worst out of these three versions, but the upper body and a great V-taper make up for it. So I'm putting 2020 last, then 2013 and 2017 winning, but it's very close. Turning to the side for the side chest pose. Here it doesn't matter if we go based on the lower section or the upper section. 2017 just doesn't measure up that well. The side leg, mainly the hanging hamstring, looks much smaller and flatter, and the upper body not bad, but I'm just not as impressed with it in 2017. Then in runner-up I would have 2013. It's really sharp in the arms and delts. I noticed that and it's impressing me very much, and a nice chest display, but then you look at the side leg of 2020. There's almost no doubt that this has to be the best side leg of all time. Crazy size and details, so the victory goes to 2020, which is more impressive overall as I see it. And in the back double biceps we have a clear loser, and it's the 2020 Olympia Ramy. He's missing his lower lat insertions. I have no idea where they went, what happened to them. He looks like he's missing a part of his back. Nothing against the legs, the arms and the upper back development. All looks great, but I can't ignore the lower part of the back, so last place for 2020. Between 2013 and 17 it's a lot closer. The lower body looks similar overall because the glutes look bigger in 13 but more dried out in 17. Again, I have to remind you that the angle of the New York Pro 2013 is a bit lower, but If I take a close look, I find the V-taper of 13 slightly more impressive either way. The lower back looks good and the lower abs insertions appear to be the thickest. And the arms are big in proportion with the rest of the physique. And the pose overall, the silhouette of 2013 just looks better to me. Even though this is close and could go either way between 13 and 17, I give it to the New York Pro. But the tables turn in the rear lat spread pose, because here 2013 or 2017 have to be last. These years, Ramy chose an execution that was not as flattering for him, in my opinion. The worst looking version here is 2013, as I see it, because Ramy is kind of missing the muscle maturity. The lats don't flare out as much, even though the shoulder width is still insane. So in 2013, not bad, but there has to be last place finisher in this pose. For me, it's 2013. In second thus, I have 2017. In the glutes, there's not even an ounce of water in them. Definitely the driest of all. I have to point that out, that's really good. And the lats flare out very nicely. They're surely well developed and the waist looks reasonably small for a man of Ramy's size. The execution could be better, but I like it more than 2013. And first place goes to 2020. Look at Big Ramy, he's huge, he's so wide, and he chose the most impressive execution to highlight that. Even though this is not the standard execution, it suits Ramy, so why not? The V-taper is unreal. And he's also got some nice traps there, and glute striations, and this pose is really dominant, so first place for 2020. Back to the side triceps. This is a very topsy-turvy comparison, because in this pose 2020 is the weakling again. The horseshoe is not as cut and not big enough. The midsection looks pretty smooth because of the execution. I'm sorry, but Ramy just doesn't hit the pose well in 2020. I can imagine it's difficult to execute when you weigh 300 flipping pounds. The side leg needs to be praised again and again. Just look at it and tell me it's not absolutely unbelievable. But it's not enough to clinch the win, because it also looks very good in 2013 and 17. Then I have 2017, which to me, to be honest, doesn't look that much better. The midsection is protruding a tiny amount and the execution could use some work. The legs look worse, but the arm looks better in 17 than 20, so I'm giving 17 the edge over 2020 because of the triceps development and a thicker chest too. But the winner is 2013. The chiseled midsection, strided delts, and the greatly separated and beefy triceps horseshoe make this pose, and it looks really good, especially for such a mass monster. Moving on to the ab and thigh, where 2020 is losing on my score sheet. I'm writing down 3 points for it. Compared to 2013, it's no contest, and compared to 2017, it's quite close, because 2020 has a better X frame and far better quadriceps, but 2017 has the far better abs, and he's sharper and more separated in the midsection. That's the key point of the pose, so I have 2017 as second. But 2013 wins easily, in my opinion. Look at the small waist and a cut six-pack. Looks like a few bricks. A super sharp serratus as well, and the quads are nothing to scoff at, absolutely. And he's the most aesthetic, which is great in this pose in particular, the ab and thigh. Last pose is the most muscular, the one hand on hip, most muscular, which suits Ramy's massive muscle-bound physique very well. Here 2017 just isn't doing it for me. It looks sort of too smooth overall, and the quads again don't match 2020 or 2013, in my opinion at least. So I have it in last place, 3 points for 2017. 2 points go to 2020. It looks to be a bit more cut than 2017, but not as cut as 2013. 2013 has the more strided pecs and more separation in the midsection, smaller waistline. He looks absolutely on the money in the pose. In 2020, he's a freak, but 2013 is just sharper. So 1 point to the New York Pro. So let's tally up the points that were given in this comparison. And third is the 2017 Olympia version of Big Ramy Mamdouh Elssbiay, which got 19 points. It got one pose, but also lost a lot of poses. Overall, it wasn't able to match the two other versions in the conditioning department. The quads were not as good, and really he was kind of a lackluster version to me, to be honest, possibly because he didn't have the aesthetics like 2013 did, nor did he have the wow factor of 2020. So if you ask me, the third best version of Ramy could be the 2015 Prague Pro, which really impressed me, but also this 2017 version. But let's stop beating around the bush. Enough of that. Who's runner-up? Who? It's 2020, the year Ramy sees the Sandow. Having 17 points, winning 2 poses, not bad at all, and it will always be a legendary, iconic version of Big Ramy. Massive as always, but more sharp than usual. The freak factor of the quads is absolutely unreal. But the arms, the midsection, and the lower lats were not as good as earlier on in his career. Like, for example, in the 2013 New York Pro, which is our winner for today. It only got 12 points and it won 5 poses. That's really good. It's quite a dominant victory. Ramy in this awesome version was complete. He was aesthetically pleasing. He was already big and he also had striations everywhere. Now there's a bit of a blemish. He had a bit of gyno, but I personally can't even see it, to be honest. I don't really care about it, so I decided to ignore it. Maybe I admit, maybe I'm a bit biased towards this version because it's my personal favorite. I like it much better than 2020, but even objectively, I would say it's the better one. But this is not the most popular opinion. You might prefer the crazy quad dominance and overall cuts of 2020 over 2013. And it's just your opinion and we can disagree on that, no problem. Bodybuilding is very subjective after all. But on my score sheet and in my brain, the 2013 NYP won this decisively. The package he brought was awesome. So guys, let me know down in the comment section below if you agree or you stand behind 2020 or 2017, 2015. I would love to know that. I'm looking forward to seeing what Ramy can do in the coming years, especially this year at the Olympia, and maybe he can improve on these versions we saw today in this video, and maybe he can win another Olympia title. That would be great. Alright, and let me know too if you think I did a good job on this video or it was too lengthy, but I was trying to be comprehensive. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to watch some Big Ramy videos and also like and subscribe. Enjoy the rest of your day.